Kevin Hart ain't that funny. Let's just start there. See, Kevin Hart is someone who is very fortuitous and should count himself lucky in the position that he finds himself in. And you see, if I'm advising Kevin Hart, shh, let them talk, let them, just because, Kevin, what you're now doing is only going to harm you. The fact of the matter is, everybody has asked themselves this, is that we understood Richard Pryor, we understood Eddie Murphy, we understood Chris Rock, and then we understood, of course, Dave Chappelle. These are guys who deserve to pretty much be the leaders during their time because they were just, yeah, this is the best comedian of this time. With Kevin Hart, I remember when I just saw Kevin Hart and I was like, and I have basically haven't, I don't, I think I've watched one Kevin Hart stand up and I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself that, okay, yeah, he tells a few jokes that are cool here and there, but this is a guy who should just be a mediocre comedian. But why is this guy chosen when he's obviously not as funny as Cat Williams? Cat Williams is he's that dude. Eddie Griffin? Come on. Everyone knows that Dave Chappelle is that dude. Although Dave Chappelle, that's a different thing. I prefer the younger Dave Chappelle to the current Dave Chappelle. So as I was watching him just get movie after movie, stand up after stand up, breaking record after record. See, Kevin, you have to understand, this isn't the thing of like, oh no, black people are trying to bring down other black people. Let's keep it real. Everybody, when Eddie Murphy was at the top, nobody said anything. Everyone was like, he's that dude. Only a few haters would have anything, and those guys were in the serious minority of guys who had an issue with Eddie Murphy when he was at his height. So those were guys who were like in the serious minority. Nobody had an issue with Chris Rock. Like, is that dude proud? Is that dude? If because it's not a minority of people that have been saying this about Kevin Hart. It's many people who said, how funny is Kevin Hart? Is Kevin Hart that funny? And see, Kevin, this isn't a thing of like, oh, you just can't see a black man succeed. They're not taking anything away from you succeeding. People know that you work hard. You work super hard and you really put in the work. But most people just don't find it funny. So most people are asking the question, like, how and why is this dude being put on this pedestal as the number one comedian? Why? And then I invest because I like to investigate. Okay, why? There always has to be a reason. And then you look at those leaks from Sony involving Amy Pascal. And one of the leaks said something sort of paraphrased into basically linked into the fact of like how, look, we could just give it to a Kevin Hart. Basically, being very dismissive of Kevin Hart as an artist, just viewing him pretty much as a clown. Pretty much viewing him just as a clown who, yeah, it's the Kevin Hart, let's just throw him in there. Just sort of disrespecting him as an actual grown man. Yeah, he's a clown. And you look at that film that he did with Bryan Cranston, like the Intouchables or whatever, like the kind of remake of the French film. And just look at the kinds of films that he's done and how he's positioned himself, the roles he's taken, and how he's pretty much accepted that role that white people want to view black people as is something Pryor wouldn't have done, Eddie Murphy sure as heck wouldn't have done, Chris Rock wouldn't have done, and we all know the Dave Chappelle story with Comedy Central. So the machine, the Hollywood machine, saw Kevin Hart and said, this is our guy. We can just use him and just put him in as the face because he's going to say yes to everything. Because we see a guy who is desperate for success, does not want to even think about going back to where he is, so he will do anything for a check. He'll wear a dress, he'll act like a clown, Like he will do anything for a check. There is no line that he pretty much wouldn't cross. So knowing that, they're like, aha, this is our guy. And that is where he's now chosen. But the what people don't understand is comedy is very similar to music. You can't force yourself to laugh at something. You can't force yourself to like a piece of music that you don't like. It comes natural. And people just continue to question that all because the machine have chosen this doesn't mean we have to accept this. Because see, that's the thing about comedy. Comedy is like Cat Williams. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm laughing out loud. I'm standing up, I've got tears streaming down my eyes. I'm like, okay, Cat, please stop. I'm begging you. I cannot breathe now. But with the Kevin Hart, you're like, because obviously again, it's like um zero F's given. Like his new Netflix special. See, I began watching it. I got through about 2 minutes and I was like, all right, I'm done. Because I'm like, and here's the thing about Kevin Hart. You're a businessman. You're not an artist. Because I looked at his interviews and stuff, and there is nothing wrong about the sense why I see. Okay, look, he's a businessman, not an artist. He is very calculating in what he does in order to make sure that he makes the most money in what he does. So he's like, I'm not going to say this, I'm going to say that. And his comedy is not risque. It is very much safe and it's very much going to tick the boxes. So he's like, what works, I'll keep on doubling, tripling down on what works. I ain't doing what say Dave Chappelle is doing. I trying to anger the LGBT crowd, the female crowd, the whites crowd. I ain't doing that kind of stuff. I'm not doing what Chris Rock did. I'm not doing what Pride. I'm not doing what Eddie Murphy did. These guys. That's why for Eddie Murphy it was called Raw, because it was raw. Because he was saying things. I was like, whoa. But for Kevin Hart, it's like, I want to make sure that I'm still this bankable dude and this bankable star that can keep going things. So you see, I can't remember who it was. I think it was. I think it was Phase on Love. I think is it Phase on Love or something, who was critical of Dave Chappelle, and I was like, and he was pretty much the only guy who said, "Nah, Dave Chappelle, he ain't that funny." I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Because okay, you've said it's not funny, and crickets, because you're the only guy that thinks that. So going back to Kevin Hart, see for Kevin, we get we get it, we understand, and it's not bad. The issue is, don't go on Clubhouse and start arguing with people and start saying black people start bringing people down. Okay, people don't like your special. Do people don't think you're funny? There's nothing you will say that'll make people think otherwise, and you can't guilt trip people into now saying, okay, man, because he's black, I think I should just find him funny now. No, if people don't find it funny, they can't teach themselves to find it funny. They're like, no, sorry, you're just not funny. It's not that any black person that's begrudges a black person getting the money or being so successful is wild. Especially when you know how hard it is for black people in a white world. It's wild. But you can still be like, you did that. Congrats to you. But you're actually not very good. You're actually not very talented. And of course, it can be hurtful and everything for Kevin Hart, but what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to say to someone who doesn't find you funny? You can't tell them that they're hating on you because you can't prove that they're just doing that because they're hating. Because it's not a minority that have said this. A lot of people say, why is Kevin Hart so famous? Why is he so big? When he's not as funny as his previous dudes. Nobody questioned Chris Rock, Pryor, Murphy, Chappelle when they were at the top. No, because people are like, yeah, these guys are the funniest guys right now. Their specials are flipping out amazing and they're classics. Kevin, enjoy your money, enjoy your success, and just live your life, man. That's the best thing for you to do, man. Guys, remember to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, man. Peace out. Stay true for more content. Peace.